Welcome back to another long-form video. I have a couple in the works right now, but it's football season and I'm getting really busy, so hopefully I can get a few more videos out, but yeah. But anyways, I've been to a lot of different amusement parks being a coaster enthusiast. And of course, some are a lot better than others. So today, I'm going to give you my rankings of all the parks I've been to. Note, I've said top 10, but it's really top 8 because I've only been 8 different, actual parks, but I've been to 2 fairs, so technically my number 10 spot goes to Monroe Cheese Days in Wisconsin. But anyways, let's hop right into the list. At number 8, I have NASCAR Speed Park in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The ride lineup is not great. However, nobody ever goes for the rides, and the only thing really anybody goes for is the go-karts, because that's the standout attraction of this place. They do have a tiny little roller coaster, this little drop tower thingy for kids, and they have a double-decker carousel for some reason. I feel like the rides do kind of feel like you're at a carnival because they sit in the infield of their one big track. It's fast flashing across screen right now, but yeah, it's a quarter mile, which is pretty cool. I didn't get to do it because I'm not old enough when I went, so. However, like many, I didn't go for the rides because at that time, I was not a big coaster fan. But instead, I did end up going for the go-karts, of course. And you already know I turned into prime Max Verstappen on the racetrack. It is a nice little park, though. At number 7, I have Malibu Jacks in the Quad Cities. They do have somewhat of a nice lineup of attractions, but then they also do have some other things, too. They have a roller coaster, which is not really that good, but then they also have a pretty good drop tower and some bumper cars. Once again, they had go-karts, and I absolutely flamed everybody again. They also had a nice little mini golf course, which I played in, which is actually pretty fun, and then they had bowling, which I skipped. They also had laser tag, which I played, and I got most accurate on, if that's a flex, but I think the main attraction here, the main star, is definitely the drop tower. You get some sweet airtime on the drop, and yeah, you get some pretty good forces, and it's a lot better than the little SBS spinner that's on the screen right now. But anyways, it's still a pretty solid park. At number 7, I have Modern Woman Park, also in the Quad Cities. I think for the most part, the attractions aren't really anywhere close to the ones they have at Malibu Jacks. I think their spinning roller coaster is really good, and it's a lot better than the one at Malibu Jacks, though. And the Ferris wheel is actually really cool. You get to watch the baseball games. And that is the exact reason I put it above Malibu Jacks. I've been a big baseball fan my whole life. I've been playing since I was 6 and been watching way before that. So, of course, the first time I even went here was before I was a coaster enthusiast, and I just came to watch the baseball. So for me, when there's baseball and roller coasters involved, I think that's a really good mix. At number 6, I have Dollywood. The only reason this park's so low, and I hate the reason I have to do this, is because I didn't experience it really to its fullest. I only rode 3 roller coasters, and they were family roller coasters, and I didn't really do much in the park other than eat cinnamon bread. This was also from a time from before I was a coaster enthusiast, so I couldn't really accurately judge the coasters there. I do wish I can get back someday to actually fully visit the park and experience it, so yeah. At number 5, I have Lost Island. Lost Island is a really solidly put together park. They have 2 great coasters and then Napuku, which I think is the worst roller coaster I've ever ridden because I got experience in the front row for the first time recently. But anyways, they have 2 great roller coasters. They have Volcano, which won a Golden Ticket Award, actually, for Best New Family Attraction, I think. And then they have a few other good flat rides, like the Drop Tower. They have Amara Aviators, the ride where you can flip yourself upside down. The theming is also really nice in the park, and they really tried hard on the theming, too. It is a really, really solid park that I think you should really visit soon. At number 4, I have Six Flags Great America. This is Chicago's premier park, and because it's in such a big area, I mean, it's not technically in Chicago, it's in Gurnee, which is a suburb, but since it's in a really big metropolitan area, they've dumped a lot of money into this park. And it shows it, and I think it has the 3rd best ride lineup of all these parks that I have on here. And the other 2 parks are number 1 and number 2. Raging Bull and Goliath are both elite, and I probably could ride those both all day if you gave me the opportunity to. But I mean, I feel like we're kind of lacking in the rest of the park. The park is not also very pretty either. Like, it's just the typical Six Flags park where they just pump a lot of money into roller coasters and pump nothing into theming and anything. But besides that, I do still think Six Flags Great America is a really great park, and it's my home park. So, yeah. Kicking off the podium at number 3, I have Busch Gardens Tampa. Somehow this is tied for my most visited park, and somehow I visited this park the same amount of times as I visited my home parks of Great America and Lost Island. I've been here 3 times. The first time, we got rained out middle of the day. The second time, I just went in the morning to ride a few of the rides I missed the second day, or the first day. And the third time is my most recent visit this year. I went and basically did everything. That third experience was amazing because I've got to experience every single roller coaster in the park and I got to really experience the park to its fullest. But besides that, I think they have a really good attraction lineup. Cheetah Hunt and Iron Gwazi are both just amazing, and they got the amazing animal section too. I do think Gwazi is a little overrated though. Don't hate me for that one because that's the second hot take of the video. But it's still a top 3 roller coaster in my books. But man, this park really wowed me away every single time I've been there. It blends together rides and attractions with the animals really well, and you can still go there even if you don't like rides because they got all the animal stuff too. If you count it as a zoo, it's probably the best zoo I've ever been to. At number 2, I have Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I'm very sad that this park is pretty far away from me, and I only went there because I went on a vacation, and I probably won't be back there for a long time. This is because this park is just absolutely amazing. This park definitely has the greatest lineup of roller coasters in the world, and I'd say it's probably better than Cedar Point. Hot take number 3 right there. But anyways, Wildcats Revenge is definitely my favorite roller coaster in the world. Hot take number 4. Sky Rush definitely takes home 4, and there's a bunch of other roller coasters there, such as like Storm Runner and Fahrenheit, that I could ride all day. Coal Cracker is probably one of, if not the best log flume I've been on too. And I do think their Shooting Dark ride is still pretty good. Hot take number 5. The food here is also great. I ate the Chocolatier, which was just amazing. The atmosphere is also amazing. Just the park feels like different from any other park I've been to, which is great because it just felt like it was a really good park atmosphere. I don't really know how to describe it. But anyways, one of the best parks in the world combined with one of the best park atmospheres in the world is definitely a great mixture. However, there is still one park that I've enjoyed better than it. And that park, taking home the number 1 spot, is Universal's Epic Universe. I was just absolutely blown away by this park the first time I went. It was kind of a fluke that we were able to go because I was going down back to Tampa so I could go to Busch Gardens and use the tickets I hadn't used. And it just so happened we had an extra day out on our trip, and we were staying in Tampa, which is only like an hour and a half from Orlando, so we thought, heck, why not go to Epic Universe? And holy cow, that was just amazing. That is probably the greatest single day I've ever had at a park. The thematics blew me away. This is probably the best theme park I've ever been to. I thought Lost Island was great, and then I came here, and it just absolutely amazed me. Just going into the different portals was just fantastic. Like, you felt like you were actually stepping into like one of the worlds. The main plaza is just kind of but then you go into different lands and it feels like you're really being transported into a different world, especially since you can't see into the lands from outside of them, and all the entrances you kind of have to go a turn, and when you're entering the entrances you don't see what's ahead. The best land I had experienced though is definitely Mario Land. The best part of the day wasn't even riding any of the rides, it was entering Mario Land for the first time. You go up a warp pipe from the game, and then you turn right, and then you walk right out into the Mario universe. That moment was just so surreal, and it was just amazing. You really do feel like you're stepping into a video game. They also had some great food selection, and of course, because I love Mario Land so much, we had to go to this Toadstool Cafe. Another reason we went there is many years ago, I was watching a video, and I saw something about like the Toadstool Cafe and the one in Hollywood. And I thought that looked amazing, and I really wanted to try it. But yeah, the food was really good, and yeah. And the rides are just so well done. Monsters Unchained is definitely the best non-roller coaster I've ever ridden, and would be just outside of all my other roller coasters, which is saying something. Stardust Racers is my number 2 roller coaster, and even though it's really poorly themed, that thing is just insane. I got the greatest roller coaster ride of my life that day because it was nighttime, and of course I had to try Stardust Racers because it sounds insane at night, and it was insane at night. And I was on the green side, and if you've ever ridden it, green side is obviously better. But anyways, I do think this is probably the greatest park in the world, and I don't think this is ever going to get even touched by anything else. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, that's my list. So like and subscribe if you want more long form content because I think I'm going to try to get more out and I'm going to try to get back on the shorts gig too. So yeah, see you all in the next one.